I just watched this clip and I want to see if it makes you as mad as it makes me.
To try to increase the lagging vaccination rate among 5 to 11-year-olds. The state government says until it improves, students in grades 3 to 6 must continue wearing masks.
It's not an epidemiological issue, it's a common sense issue.
The government now working to boost the slowing vaccination rate.
We've got GPs going into around 200 schools over the coming weeks to drive a bit more of a localised vaccination program there.
If you've got a 5 to 11-year-old in your family, please go and get your first dose and then follow that up with a second dose.
To the parents out there who have children in this age group, I want to point out to you that the government is using your children as tools to coerce you into making parental decisions, which are your decisions, not the government's, okay? And if you wanted to give your child this procedure, you would have already done it. And there's a reason you haven't. And it could be, and I would want to take this opportunity to congratulate the everyday hardworking Australian warriors who've been hitting the streets with letterbox drops and talking to their neighbours about this, because there is questions around why you would think about getting that age group to do this medical procedure, seeing as they pose no threat to the wider population. So if you have decided not to do that, stick to your convictions, because there's a reason you thought about it. Secondly, there are going to be people coming around to schools to try to coerce and bully you and your child into getting the procedure that you have decided not to. So if homeschooling is something you are considering, I really suggest you look into it. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. There are resources on the Reignite Democracy Australia website all about homeschooling to help you decide if it's the right decision for you and your children. But I really suggest you have a one-on-one appointment with your principal as soon as possible to ask about these people who are going to be visiting your children's school and trying to make them do things that you don't want them to do. Now listen, it is the federal election coming up, and it is enough. The government is not parents, okay? You are the parents. You make the decisions and keep doing that. This is the worst sort of coercion I could ever imagine, using children to coerce parents into making decisions they don't want to. And on top of that, when it comes to the mask situation, if you don't know by now, there are exemptions to the masks, okay? Asthma, claustrophobia, PTSD, anxiety, the list goes on. I will also put that information in the link of this video. If you are a parent and you don't want to restrict your children's oxygen flow and they have a valid exemption, then you should really look into that, because there are studies that show long-term oxygen deficiency causes a lot of problems. So I would really look into that. Now, I'm not telling you to not put masks on your children. I'm telling you to look into the exemptions, because your children might be exempt. And if they are, well, then you can decide what to do from there, but you should really know this information. This is absolutely disgusting what he's doing, trying to use children as a pawn. This just goes to show what we need to do in the next federal election is make sure that idiots like this, tyrants like this, narcissists like Daniel Andrews, do not get to make these decisions anymore, because we've had enough. That's enough. This is disgusting. If you don't want to get a medical procedure for your child, then don't. It's your choice. All right? It's your choice. No one else's. All right, my rant's over.